Welcome to the Mid-Market Edge podcast, where we uncover operational insights for private equity-backed portfolio companies. I'm your host, Kevin Bonfield, and over the last 30 years, I've had the privilege of working with fast-growing entrepreneurial teams, helping them scale, tackle challenges, and seize new opportunities. On this show, we'll talk to industry experts and seasoned leaders who will share practical strategies to drive growth, boost efficiency, and create value in the mid-market. Get ready for an insightful, engaging conversation that dives deep into the real-world issues facing your business.
Hello and welcome to the Mid-Market Edge. My name is Kevin Bonfield. In our first series, we talked about building your global edge, what it takes to build a global team. And we had deep dives with 6 different operators and leaders, some with over 20 years of experience in this space, to talk through what's practical and what matters so that you can be successful. In this series, we're talking to a different set of operators and leaders about acquisition integration. And the reason that this matters is that for a number of people, they will tell you that integration starts on day one. But in reality, it starts much before the deal closes because you're already making decisions about how the business is going to run. You're thinking through how much autonomy stays within the existing leadership team, who gets to decide what gets standardized, what success actually looks like. And if that acquired company isn't aligned to those decisions before you close, then there's going to be friction and pain after the close when you're in the middle of the operational integration. In fact, both Bain & Company and the Harvard Business Review have done research on this topic, and the Bain & Company research highlights the fact that early clarity on operating models and decision rights are a key predictor of value realization. And the Harvard Business Review talks about misaligned expectations pre-close being a leading cause of friction after the close when you're trying to go through that operational connection. And so if you don't think through integration during the deal phase, then it's going to be an issue post-close. In fact, you don't really roll out integration to an acquired company. You bring them into it so that they are part of the definition during that due diligence and close process. It's more relevant than ever now. Add-on acquisitions represent almost 3/4 of deal flow, deal volume right now. And over the last decade, that ratio of add-ons to platforms has roughly doubled. And so 10 years ago, for every platform that was purchased, about 1.5 add-ons were also acquired. Now it's closer to 3. The PitchBook data shows that integration is not episodic anymore. It's ongoing and continuous. And the reason is that there are faster value expectations for company hold times, and there's less tolerance for drift. And so adding more acquisitions on an add-on basis is important because it's both lowering the average buy-side multiple, but then the integration is then going to impact the sell-side multiple. And so there's more pressure, there's less leadership slack. And one of the challenges is that as companies go through these acquisition projects, that first year is the most important as you go from due diligence into deal close into integration. In fact, McKinsey found that over 70% of the deals that were ultimately successful skipped a dip in year one, especially around base revenue drop, underscoring that the first step in any integration is protecting that set of customer relationships and revenue base. And at the same time, this is a place where with ongoing serial add-ons, every integration sets the conditions and the capability for the next acquisition. Now, integration is not just onboarding. I have heard some people talk about integration as if it's you get a new paycheck, you get a new laptop and a t-shirt and maybe a town hall, and that's it. No, integration is all around how the combined entity is going to operate and deliver value, how decisions get made, how trade-offs get resolved, how priorities shift, and how accountability actually works in this new leadership team, and as a result, how value gets created. And this cultural integration is a core element of driving value in acquisition integrations. That cultural integration doesn't usually show up as resistance, it shows up as decision confusion. And so people can't move as quickly as they would like to because they're unsure who gets to make decisions and how decisions get made. And in fact, the research will show that acquirers will look back and they will say that underinvesting in the cultural side, bringing more resources to culture and change management, were one of the things that they would change in future. That was as part of a McKinsey study. And the reason is this, that in a world where you have a change in the way that your team operates, the people together want to know how to win. And if they don't know how to win and that's not being communicated and driven together, then it makes it much more difficult for them to be successful. And so ultimately, they will stop trying. Now, one of the big issues in bringing in smaller add-on companies into a platform is that you're bringing entrepreneurs into a corporate environment. These are people who have grown up on founding or entrepreneurial teams. They've sold their business, but what they've not sold is their identity. And so part of the challenge as entrepreneurs come into these new businesses is that they have a fairly standard way of working that has worked for them, in that they get to set priorities, they get to think about what the future looks like, and often the way that they make decisions is in a way where they are making the decision and then the decision gets handed down, rather than thinking about how decisions get made through influence across a broader leadership team. And so the skills which have made that entrepreneur successful as they've grown their business are not the entire set of skills that will make them successful in this new mode, but they have incredible assets that can be brought in and enable a platform to grow at a faster rate if those skills are harnessed in the right way. And we have a couple of interviews that we're going to do with entrepreneurs that have sold into platforms so that we can understand what works and what doesn't. The next thing is we're going to dive into playbooks, talking about how integration actually scales. I tend to think of playbooks as things that are a building capability. They help you understand how to move fast, how to reduce uncertainty, and how to avoid reinventing decisions that you're going to make under pressure. This is particularly important where you either have a large company that is doing a consistent set of integrations or acquisitions on an ongoing basis, or a private equity company that's working across platforms but is trying to get to a higher level of capability on integrations. And we're going to talk to people over the next few weeks that have worked on improving that capability over time. So for, as example, financial data gets integrated not 30 days after close, but on day one. And there's a standard reporting cadence within 30 days, because if you've got clarity on the data and the metrics, then you can define what success looks like, and people can move towards that outcome which you've all agreed. And I tend to think of that capability, that acquisition integration capability, as one which can be improved. It's the people, the process, the technology working towards a clear definition of what success is. But as you go through and you exercise that muscle, you can get better and better at that acquisition integration. One of the last couple of things that we're going to dive into is around measurement. And that measurement is often looked at in terms of rearward-facing metrics: revenue, EBITDA, cost synergies. What we're going to dive into is the things that make a difference on a forward-looking basis. Do we have the right capacity in our leadership team? Are we seeing customer disruption signals? Do we have issues with our talent where the talent may leave? And how quickly are we able to make thoughtful decisions? And so integration metrics aren't really around control. They're about an early warning system that allows you to see if you're generating the value and achieving the thesis that you originally laid out as part of this deal. So this series on intelligent integration is going to dive into all of the elements from pre-close to deal to the integration post-close, the first 100 days, how to think about running those add-ons without breaking the platform and building that integration capability, and and then how to course correct before value quietly leaks out and the original reason that you did the acquisition falls apart. Integration, in my mind, isn't a phase or a project. Over time, where we've got multiple acquisitions on the same platform, or you're doing acquisitions across platforms, it's a capability, one that can be built, can be strengthened, and can be honed. And for the Mid-Market Edge podcast, the thing that is most important to us as we dive into this is that these conversations are the practical, what matters insights that help you be successful in the future. So I'm excited to let you know that our next series is about to launch. Over the next few weeks, you will see those interviews as we dive in and we work out how acquirers and entrepreneurs build that edge as they go through acquisition integration.
Thanks for tuning in to the Mid-Market Edge podcast. For more information, visit the Mid-Market Edge website at midmarketedge.com. Details are in the show notes. Remember to subscribe and like the show so you'll never miss an episode. And until next time, keep building your edge in the mid-market.